I designed a breakout board for the ESP32-C3 WROOM module to practice PCB design and to prepare for the Enki in hardware PCB, one of my projects that you can see right here. But during the process I made some mistakes that honestly I didn't expect. And so in this video I would like to share with you how I designed this board, what went wrong and what I would like to change in the next revision. Let's start from the beginning. What was the goal of this board? The ESP32-C3 WROOM is a module from Espressif that includes the ESP32-C3 chip with the clock, the SPI flash and the RF circuit. This means that you can use this module to design your own PCB without dealing with all these tiny components. In my case, I wanted to design this PCB for two main reasons. The first one is that I'm still learning and practicing PCB design and soldering of the SMD components. And the second reason is that this PCB is a part of a bigger project, and since I'm still learning I decided to split the final PCB into small sections that I could try and debug separately before merging everything into the final PCB. So how did I design this board? Designing something like this is actually really easy and straightforward since Espressif really provides a lot of useful information. And in this video I would like to show you two resources that you can use to develop your own board around this kind of modules. The first thing that you want to do is to search for the datasheet related to your module that you would like to use. In my case I wanted to use this module right here, and this is the related datasheet. And the most important part that you would like to use to design your own PCB is to go to the schematics. We want to see this one right here. As you can see, this is a typical application circuit of the module connected, and this will show you how you should use your own module. Another useful way to find the resources on PCB design is to go and search for dev kit based on the module that you would like to use. In this way, we're gonna see the schematic and the PCB design of this dev kit based on the ESP32-C3 WROOM module. If we go related documents, we can see the schematic and the PCB layout of this board. In this way, we're gonna see how we can design our breakout board or dev kit around the module. As you can see right here, this is design of my own breakout board for the ESP32-C3 WROOM module. This is the 3D viewer, and now let's see the PCB editor. As you can see, this one is the PCB editor of KiCad. And this one that you can see right here is the schematic editor. But now let's talk about my board. As you can see, there are a lot of components missing that are usually on the dev kits that you have seen before. This is because I didn't want to use this board to prototype any of the project, but rather to see if this board and these circuits will work on this PCB right here. For example, in the final PCB for the Enki and hardware project, I wanted to use the RX and TX with the boot button to upload my firmware into the module. With this board right here, I should be able to do the same and see if it works. As you can see, I also added these two test points for the two signal paths. But now let's talk about the mistakes with this board right here. The first one was actually when I was designing this board right here. As you can see, these two buttons doesn't really seem to be a problem, but they are way too small for this project. Sometimes you should really try to understand how small certain components are on your PCB design, especially if they are like buttons that you have to press. The second mistake that I've done, as you can see from the video, one of the buttons wasn't really soldered correctly into the board, and so I had to re-solder only this button right here. But then while I was soldering the buttons, I realized that I was melting the cap of the button. Basically it was unusable. And so after burning like two of them, I decided to just get rid of these buttons, and for the next week I think I'm going to solder like another type of switch. It won't surely look clean, but at least I will be able to try this board. But as you can see right here, this is the current state of the module, and I'll try to solder some of the through-hole switch that I have at home just to try this board. Next week I'm going to upload a video where I try this board right here and also this one that if you're following the channel from some months you should have seen. But for now, thank you for watching and we're gonna see you in the next week.